Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. We're going to talk about Denis Villeneuve's. We're going to talk about Timothy Chalamet's. We're going to talk about Zendaya's. We're going to talk about Javier Bardem's Dune 2 and how it changes forever how we dungeon master. So, what does it mean to dungeon master, right? So, first of all, we are taking control of the table. And we have no question, we have a dungeon master shortage today. Everybody's like, why? Why do we have a dungeon master shortage? It's dead simple why we have a dungeon master shortage. First of all, dungeon mastering is public speech, right? And people absolutely, it is the number one fear of Americans is public speech, right? So dungeon mastering is essentially, fundamentally public speech constantly for 2 hours minimum, right? It's 2 hours of public speaking. Most people, that is their literal nightmare. Most people spend half their lives making sure they never public speak, right? Like, it is the number one fear from many Americans, right? So that's a problem right there. The other thing is, you are the leader. You are in control. Again, this is 2024. We have many, many, many Americans making sure, oh, I'm not the leader. I'm not in control. I'm not the man. I'm not the authority. You put on the Dungeon Master crown, you are all of those. You are the man. You are the lead. You are the controller. You are the master. It is Dungeon Master. You master the table. You master the dungeon, right? It's what it is. And this is so abominable and so unthinkable to so many Americans. Even within the community, there was a strong discussion that we should retire the term Dungeon Master, because so many people are so terrified of being in control, being the lead, being the direct, right? The direct answer, right? All of these things, right? So that is, where we land, right? So, but in Dune 2, we see perfectly what it means to be a dungeon master. There's a fantastic scene in Dune 2. Spoilers for Dune 2 here. And so Paul Muad'Dib Atreides goes to the south, and there is a war council there, right? And so basically the Fremen leaders are speaking. Only the Fremen leaders you have to be Fremen, and you have to be a leader to speak. It's the only people who are allowed to speak. Paul needs to speak in the war council. This has to happen. Stilgar wants to get him ready, and he's like, hey, Paul, you need to take my life, and then you'll be the leader of my Fredican team, and then you can speak, right? And Paul's like, no. Like, he's got a great line. He's like, you don't break your knife. You don't break a knife before you go to battle, right? Like, you are a powerful knife. You are a tool I will use in the coming battles. I'm not going to kill you. I need you, right? I have tasks for you, right? And Stilgar's like, well, that doesn't work, man. You're not going to be able to say a thing, right? So what's interesting is, so basically, the way Paul Muad'Dib Atreides deals with this is, he just says, I'm the dungeon master, and this is how we take a table. We're like, I'm the dungeon master. This is the story. This is the narrative. I lead the way, right? And so you just simply stand up, you walk to the dais, and you're like, I'm the dungeon master. You guys are all going to listen, right? But then the moment you do, every single dragon master, every player is going to say, wait a second, why should you, right, be? And Paul Muad'Dib Atreides tells us how to deal with this as dungeon masters. And Paul Muad'Dib Atreides walks up and he's like, oh, hey, you Fremen leaders, I'm not supposed to speak? Listen up. First thing he says, I lead the way. He's like, your way is done. My way set now, right? And this is how you take the dungeon masters, this is how you take the crown. You take the crown, okay? You understand that? You take the crown. You say, I am the dungeon master, and then you do it, right? But the moment you do it, right, you got the problem that Paul Muad'Dib Atreides has, right? And so he walks up and he goes, oh, and every Fremen leader who is all a certified, all fighters. And he goes, you guys wanted me to go over there and kill Stilgar, right? An older fighter who is recently injured? You want me to kill him, right? So that I can talk to you? Listen up. right? He's like, check that noise. No one in this room can stand against me. That's what you do to become the dungeon master. You say, no one at this table can stand against me. I am dungeon master. You are dragon master. The reason why is I know the story. I know the rules better than you. I know the rules better than you. Okay? Also, I determine the path. I can tell a narrative you can't. I can tell a narrative you can't. I can entertain this group. I can lead this group. I can direct this group. I can provision this group. I am the way. No one in this room can stand against me. And when you take the Dungeon Master crown, you're saying that to every Dragon Master at the table. You're saying, no one in this room can stand against me in rules knowledge. No one in this room can stand against me in narrative power. No one in this room is better positioned to provision this table. No one in this room can stand against me. That is what it takes. The Dungeon Master is the voice from the outer world. The Dragon Masters are the voice of the inner worlds. Each of the inner worlds. The Forgotten Realms. Greyhawk. Dark Sun. Ravnica. Strixhaven. Theros. Dungeons and Dragons inner worlds. The Dragon Masters are the voice of the inner worlds. The Dungeon Master is the voice of the outer world. And you become the Dungeon Master because no one in the room can stand against you in rules knowledge, narrative power, or provisioning power. That's how you take it. That's how you take the Dungeon Master crown. That's how you put it on your head, and that's how you keep it there. And wait for a Dragon Master to come up and say, "It's time. Let's go, Stilgar." There's going to be a point, and it's happened to me probably 3 times over 4 decades of play, where the Dragon Master is like, "You're not. I can stand against you. I can take this table." And if it's never happened to you, you suck. Get there. Like, every single word you just heard is my very humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.